Hey guys, and welcome to VRAC. The first video on uncommon and rare Xbox 360 games was a big hit, and you guys really seemed to like it. So this time, I'm back with 5 more uncommon and rare Xbox 360 games. Now this first one is just right on the edge of uncommon. If you look at it if you look for it at a couple of stores, you're going to end up finding it. But I'm really talking about this one because of a variant that you can find of it. This game is Afro Samurai. Follows the anime of the same name with the voice actor of Samuel L. Jackson. It's a hack and slash. I actually played it a really long time ago. It's a fun game. It's definitely worth picking up if you can find it for a decent price. I only paid $7, and that's definitely worth it. But there is a slipcover edition that opens up from the front. It's holographic. It's got 3D molding on it, and that is extremely hard to find. I've searched all over the country for it, going from game store to game store, GameStop to GameStop. I cannot find it with that slipcover, no matter where I look. So if you're on the lookout and you see Afro Samurai, pick it up for a cheap price. If you see Afro Samurai with a slipcover, pick it up immediately. That is a variant that will be very, very hard to find in the future. I can't find it anywhere. I bought it brand new whenever I was younger, and I had the slipcover version. I should have never gotten rid of it. But if you find it with a slipcover, definitely pick it up. Now, this next one is another shmup, and it's by a publisher that I don't see very often on Xbox 360. It's called Rising Star Games is the publisher. I haven't seen them publish any other game for the 360. Now, they might have, but I haven't seen it. This is a shmup called Kukai Katana. It's got an anime art style. It's a bullet hell shooter, HD graphics. I haven't played this one yet, but I've heard some good things about it. This game is extremely hard to find. I'd say it borders right on the edge of rare, because I have never seen it at a GameStop. But the last time I checked on Amazon, you can still pick this up for about $20 new. So I would pick it up. It seems like Amazon is the only way to pick this one up right now. I've tried looking all over the place. I ordered it from Amazon, but I can't find it in any game stores. It's going to be difficult to find, but if you come across it, Kukai Katana by Rising Star Games published. I don't know how many they published of this. Rising Star Games is not a big publisher, and I think, now that I think of it, the only other game that I remember them publishing was Under Defeat HD for the PS3, which is one of the hardest to find PS3 games. So now that I think of it, they might have only published a few copies of this Kukai Katana, not sent them out to many stores, and have most of them online left over. So if you can pick it up soon, because that one is going to be very difficult to find in the future. Now, this next game is not very uncommon. It's a little uncommon to find. It's not the game particularly itself, but it's the genre of games that I think are going to fall to the wayside, and a lot of people are going to have trouble finding them later. Now, these types of games, this is the Borderlands double game add-on pack. It's got the Zombie Island of Dr. Ned and Mad Moxie's Underdome Riot. These were 2 of the DLCs that were available for the first Borderlands. There are several games that have released discs like this, where it's just an install disc with the DLC, kind of like what you get from the Game of the Year edition, but it's just the install disc. And from what I've seen, it doesn't have all of the stuff on the Game of the Year edition, so it's not very sought after. A lot of people might put this to the wayside, have gotten rid of it. You could pick them up very cheap. I got this one at GameStop for $3. But these little side discs, they've released them for Elder Scrolls Oblivion. I know that. They've released one for Fallout. They've released this one. If you know of any others that you know that they've released, I can't think of any more, but I like collecting these little ones here. They're really cheap when you find them, but I don't really see them that often. You'd be surprised how little they actually pop up. Now, I don't know if that's just because people discarded them after installing them when they found out that they didn't need to keep using the disc, or what, but these are definitely ones that I would pick up. They're uncommon right now. They might not be rare in the future, but looking around, you don't see them in every store. So with how cheap they are and how it's like a little niche thing, I just like collecting them myself. I thought I'd introduce it because I don't know what this is going to be like trying to find these in the future. They're little offsets of the game that a lot of people have forgotten about, and some of them, like this one, actually have a manual. So you got to watch out for that, because I would not think that just an instructional manual would be needed for an installation disc, but they have them. So keep a lookout. If you know of any more besides the Fallout 3, the Elder Scrolls Oblivion, or this Borderlands add-on, let me know, because I'm actually interested in collecting them. I just think they're a cool thing to have, you know, having just that published add-on disc. I know that Red Dead Redemption did one for their Undead Nightmare, but that wasn't an installation disc. That was actually the DLC available by itself, playable by itself. So keep a lookout for those. I think they're going to be uncommon in the future. They'll never be rare, but they'll be uncommon. Now, these next two games are actually related. They're by the same publisher, and they're actually, one is a prequel and one is the original base game. These are called the Record of Argyrist War games. Record of Argyrist War and Record of Argyrist War 0. These games have been extremely hard for me to find. I only came across 2 copies of them in the entire time that I've been collecting, and the only copy of Record of Argyrist War that I came across, only one of them had the soundtrack. Now, if you can't tell, these are a little bit of an adult-themed game. It's more of an adult-themed Fire Emblem. If you ever played Fire Emblem, it goes heavily with that, where you try to romance a person and then create a dynasty that you end up playing the game through your dynasty, where your character isn't just your main character, but you actually go down and play as the family, as you create a family and fight. And I find those games extremely interesting. Fire Emblem is one of my favorite franchises that has ever existed. And I love the 360. And when I found out that there were Fire Emblem type games on the 360, and they were collectible, and they had things like soundtracks to try and find and collect, I had to pick them up. I haven't played these yet, actually. I'm going to play them very soon. I might actually do a Let's Play of them and have you guys follow along. But these are going to be extremely collectible and rare in the future. These are RPGs. These are hard-to-find RPGs that have extra things in them. Now, there actually are collector's editions of these two, if I remember correctly. I know Zero has one, and I'm pretty sure that Record of Argyrist War has a collector's edition itself. Whether or not those are more rare than the actual games, I don't know. It's very difficult with those collector's editions, because when you get into collector's editions around the 360 PS3 era, sometimes they printed just as many collector's editions as they did standard editions. Now, that's mostly on the big games like Call of Duty, Halo, stuff like that, where those collector's editions don't get really worth too much. But on these, it's a different story. On these, the collector's editions are probably going to be harder, or a lot harder to find than the actual games. And these are already hard to find. So if you manage to come across the collector's editions, maybe they're for you, maybe they're not. I don't know what's in them. I haven't looked into the collector's editions on these very much. I just know that they exist. So if you like the Fire Emblem games and you like collecting for Xbox 360, or maybe you just like picking up a couple of Xbox 360 games that might be harder to find or more expensive in the future when you decide, hey, maybe I do want to play those. Oh crap, they're like $100 a piece now. Or maybe, you know, they go even higher. Pick them up while you can. They're around $20-25 right now. Last time I looked at them. So that's already pretty high for an Xbox 360 game. The Xbox 360 is right in that down cycle where the Xbox One has been out for a long time. The Xbox Project Scarlet is talking about coming out next year. The 360 is a forgotten memory. But big box stores still carry it, and they don't want to carry all that stock that's just sitting around that nobody's really buying for the things that aren't backwards compatible like these games. So now's the time when all of the prices of games are at their lowest for Xbox 360. Any of these games that are already at like a kind of a pricey $20-25, those are just going to go up from here. So if you're interested in collecting them, now's the time to get them. Do not wait. These games are going to go up in price, and once they're out of big box stores, they're going to be a lot harder to find in the future, okay? So that is 5 more uncommon and rare Xbox 360 games for collecting. If you guys like the video, go ahead and leave a like down below. Subscribe to the channel if you're a new viewer or if you've been viewing. I'm going to be uploading tons of Let's Plays, tons of collecting videos, and tips and tricks on collecting. I have a video that I'm working on coming up about collecting on a budget. and that's going to have tips and tricks on collecting on a budget and where to find games for cheapest. We like to collect. We like to buy a lot of games, and we don't like to spend a lot of money on them because then you can't buy as many games. So definitely check out the new budgeting video that I have coming out for game collecting. Go ahead and leave a comment below on other games that you think are hard to find and rare for Xbox 360. I know that there were some comments last time that left a lot of insight onto games that I didn't even know were hard to find, and that I'm going to try to find and get for a new video coming up, okay? Like I said, like, comment, subscribe. Thank you for watching VRAC. You guys have a good night.